Skeletor! Stop!
Too late, fools!
Welcome, He-Man fans. I'm Jimmy Gaddis, excited to dive into another episode of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe to find the top 5 moments we likely overlooked when we watched back in the day as kids. Up next is the Time Corridor. First, I'll give you a brief synopsis of the episode, but of course, if you want to skip the summary and get right to the top 5 list, you can head to this time right here. Let's do this. Time warp. Take us back to 1983. Inside Snake Mountain, a portal opens and an unknown voice speaks.
I have it, Skeletor!
It is a box containing the Wheel of Infinity, which Skeletor claims is the ultimate key to the destruction of Castle Grayskull, but they'll have to go back in time to use it. Picnicking outside the palace, Zor flies overhead, summoning our heroes to Grayskull, where the sorceress fires up the window of time to show them Skeletor, in the past, working with the Ape Clan to build a fortress where Castle Grayskull now stands.
What good will a fortress in the past do him?
Great question. I hope this answer makes sense. I admit I'm terrible at understanding anything related to the space-time continuum. So, the sorceress says the fortress will protect the Wheel of Infinity. Alright, got it. No problem there. Now, if Skeletor can get this thing to spin, it will eventually speed up and grow larger, traveling through time as it does, eventually spinning so fast and growing so large that when it arrives in modern-day Eternia, it'll reach a point of self-destruction, taking down Grayskull with it, enabling Skeletor's evil to rule Eternia. Make sense? Alright, let's move on.
You must go back in time and stop Skeletor.
Cue the transformation and a trip through the Time Corridor. Back in Eternia's past, they immediately run into the warrior Snake Clan. A potential face-off is interrupted by a dragasaur. Trapped in this pit, Man-at-Arms helps clan leader Zalora escape, while He-Man takes care of the winged beast.
You have proved yourself friends to the Snake Clan. How may we help you?
He-Man asks for any info they can provide regarding Skeletor's plans. Zalora says he's taken control of the Ape Clan and pitted them against her people, some of whom have been taken prisoner and forced to, shall we say, work without getting paid. So, to the fortress we go to stop Skeletor and save her people.
Give up, Skeletor!
Skeletor sends out the Ape Clan and Triclops to defend the fortress, but they're no match for He-Man. Slimier tactics will be needed. Boneface gasses Zalora and takes her to Dragasaur Isle, leaving He-Man with a big decision: stop what's going on at the fortress to save Grayskull from being destroyed in the future, or rescue Zalora. They of course make the noble choice, battling man-eating plants and giant land lobsters along the way. Inching closer, Skeletor and company try to keep He-Man at bay.
Get them, my beauties!
E for effort, but the good guys prevail and He-Man breaks Zalora out of her cell.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
The sorceress appears and lets them know they're running out of time, because apparently you can only use the time corridor for so long before it draws you back. So she uses her magic to quickly transport them to the fortress.
Not again!
He-Man finds Skeletor and a deflected beam of magic gets the wheel spinning. Even with all his strength, He-Man can't stop it. Rather than let it run its course over time, he speeds it up right then and there. A flying fist sends it skyward, where it explodes into a fireworks finale.
Jumping Jupiter! What was that?
Not today, Skeletor. Not today. You'll be happy to know the two clans in the past would be friends again, and together
They'll build the world that is our Eternia.
So what were my top 5 moments from the Time Corridor? Let's get to the list.
Number 5.
What is with the toothpick references? First, He-Man tells Skeletor to give up, or
we'll turn your fortress into toothpicks.
a minute later, we get another one.
That club would make a fine toothpick.
Writer Larry DiTilio must have had them on his mind when he scripted this one out.
Number 4.
So that's where he stores his gadgets. As the dragasaurs attack, Man-at-Arms reaches under his armor and pulls out a bola to take them down. Unfortunately, the Man-at-Arms figure doesn't seem to offer the same sort of storage. I tried.
Number 3.
Sticking with Man-at-Arms, this is a special treat. Our hero brandishing the mace that came with his figure. It's not until you see it that you realize how often you actually don't see it in the animated series. While the weapons expert has no shortage of options, it is rare to see him with this one.
Number 2.
But is it enough to destroy Grayskull?
What's the deal with Lizardface? I assume you've all been waiting to learn more about this blue-skinned reptilian. His name is Fang Man, and he has the ability to control dragasaurs to do his bidding. This is his only appearance in the animated series. Don't recall a figure in his likeness in the 80s? That's because one wasn't made until the MOTU Classics line in 2013. What's awesome about this toy is that it reveals his fate in this episode 30 years later. Yeah, at the end of the show, we see Skeletor, and only Skeletor, escape through a time portal to present-day Eternia. Whether Fang Man escaped is anyone's guess. Fast forward to 2013, and the bio on the back of the card tells us that he's still on Dragasaur Island, awaiting Skeletor's return. Don't hold your breath, buddy.
Number 1.
Even heroes get sleepy on the job. After He-Man asks Zalora what Skeletor is up to, her response takes nearly 20 slow seconds.
Once the ape men were our friends.
I love it. Whether intentional or not on the part of the animators, He-Man appears to doze off, or was potentially hypnotized by other factors. Just calling it like I see it, folks. Solid episode. 7 out of 10. And those are my top 5 moments from the time corridor. So what do you recall most from this episode? Let me know in the comments, and thunder punch that like button and subscribe for future episodes. Or you can just, click right here for the playlist. Catch up on episodes that you may have missed. We've got quite the collection going right now. I'm Jimmy Gaddis. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.